You, along with some other girls, were thrown into the forest to mate and make heirs for the wolf who marks you. You were caught by the great alpha, Jungkook. He was very gentle with you, but you got scared and ran off. Unfortunately, your foot got stuck between the stones and it was severely bruised. Jungkook approached you very decently and treated your wound. You somehow felt relief when you were bandaged. Detailed video of Jungkook chasing YN is pinned in the comment section below. Please take a look. Her wound was healing fastly. Thanks. Jungkook smiled softly at her. You're very welcome. He sighed and sat back on the couch. We'll save our hunt until night. Excuse me, hunt? This was new to her. Yes, we have no food, so we have to hunt for it. I'll never go hunting with you or anywhere else for that matter. Right, well, you don't have a choice. You're my mate now, and as my Luna, you're supposed to help me. She was feeling anger again. You can't make me do anything against my will. I don't want to be your mate, and I don't want to carry your pups, and I won't. He was angrier than she was. He had put all of that work to have her, and she was going to be with him no matter what she said. If he had to get mean and irrational, so be it. He stormed over to her and pulled her off the couch, holding her weight so that she wouldn't be standing on her injured leg. She struggled, wide-eyed, trying to get away. She knew he was about to do something she wouldn't like, but she didn't know exactly what it was. She watched his canines extend and she screamed, "Get off me! Stop!" He ignored her pleas and scratched her neck with his sharp teeth, sending shivers throughout her body. She shut her eyes tightly. Are you going to agree willingly, little one? Get lost! She felt his canines dig into her skin before finally piercing that tender area and drawing blood. She screamed as if she were being murdered, and to her it definitely felt that way. It was so painful she gripped onto him for support. She started sobbing. Alpha, please! He slowly retracted his fangs when he was finished, licking the wound so that it would heal faster and so that the blood flow would stop. He placed her back on the couch gently. It comes with a terrible burning pain at first and then feverish symptoms, but hopefully you'll live. I know that the situation isn't ideal for you, but it isn't about you or what you want anymore. And as soon as you realize that, the easier things will be for both of us. YN wanted to scream curses at him or attack him or do something, but her body wouldn't allow her to do anything but go through the pain. She was reduced to a screaming, sobbing mess, and she was embarrassed. After what felt like 15 to 30 minutes of severe pain, she started slipping into a deep sleep. Wake up, little one. As she woke up, he noticed the tears on her pink cheeks. His heart almost swelled at the sight of her and her innocence. As she stood and stretched out, he noticed that his mark was taking its place right behind her ear. She finally woke up and winced, but didn't say anything, clearly saddened and angered by how he had violated her only a few hours before. How is your leg feeling? He knew he wasn't going to get an answer from her. I hope you understand why I had to do what I did, my dove. YN tried to hold herself together, not wanting to cry in front of him again, as she had done enough of that already. Do you want to get some fresh air? Please leave me alone, she whispered. Jungkook saw that she wasn't trying to be disrespectful and that she really needed her space, so he decided to leave her alone. I won't go far, little one. Stay here and rest up for our hunt later today, yeah? He took off his clothes and shifted before running out of the front door. When she woke up, it was dark outside and Alpha Gion still wasn't back. She sat up and looked around, and the next thing she noticed was that The pain in her neck and leg were completely gone, and she also noticed that there were raised lines behind her ear like she had just gotten a tattoo. She whimpered a little when she realized that she was no doubt his property now, and the evidence was there for all to see. It was quiet outside the cabin, and there was no light at all, so it was a little bit of a challenge to see, and from what she could smell, it was only her and Jungkook out there, and his scent was fading. Maybe he died, she thought. Wyan ran again. She ran as fast and as far as her 4 paws could carry her. She heard a branch snap and she froze. Then something slammed into her from the side. She yelped as she hit a rock, the impact knocking the wind from her lungs. Before she could muster the strength to stand back up, a wolf with yellow eyes approached her, trying to claim her. She cursed inwardly, reminded of the fact that she wasn't sun-marked and he couldn't see her visible marking, so he would assume she was unclaimed. The wolf wrapped its jaw around her neck, positioning itself behind her. It took his thingy out and she realized what was happening. She howled and whimpered as loud as she could, specifically for her mate to come and save her. She never thought that she would even ask Jungkook for his help. But if the other wolf was going to forcefully make her hiss, then he would better show up when she needed him. The louder she got, the more pressure he put on her neck, almost as a warning to keep the noise down, lest another wolf try and join in. She was tired and she realized she hadn't eaten in days, and by now she would learn her lesson. Running and fighting back wasn't going to help her. She needed to stop acting like she knew what was she doing. Right as she was about to just lay down and accept what was going to happen, a large black wolf came out of nowhere, grabbing the wolf by the back of his neck and throwing him away. The wolf stood up and instead of running, he challenged him, facing him straight on. Jungkook stood over her and nuzzled her neck, rubbing his scent all over her, another warning for the other wolf to get lost. The wolf left reluctantly, upset that he had lost the female he had finally got his hands on. Jungkook stood his ground until he was sure the coast was clear, and then nudged her, checking to see if she was okay. Wyan shifted, and that's when he saw the tears streaming down her face. He shifted as well, gathering his mate into his arms. She shuddered and started sobbing, burying her face into his chest. "You came? Of course I did. You called for me. I didn't think you would recognize me." She grabbed onto his shoulder, holding onto him tightly. "I'm your mate. I'll always recognize you crying out, my little one. Now hush, I'm taking you back to the cabin. I'm going to prepare a hot meal for you. We are going to have a conversation about your behavior, and then you are to go straight to bed to rest." She nodded eagerly and pressed her head back up against his chest, ignoring the fact that their bodies were so closely pressed together. They arrived back at the cabin as he placed her on the couch, disappearing into the kitchen again. He soon came back and offered her a bowl of steaming hot stew, which she accepted gratefully. "Thank you," she murmured. "This is delicious. Where did you get the ingredients?" He chuckled. "The store. I knew that tonight might not be a good time to hunt, and I knew you weren't feeling it. I had someone bring the things to me so I could make dinner for both of us, only to get back and realize you were gone." The slight venom in his voice at the end of his explanation made her recoil and her wolf whimper. She started to feel bad. He had helped her treat her leg, he would made her dinner, and he would come to her aid when she was in trouble. All she had done was run away from him. He didn't deserve any of that. "I'm sorry. It's just, this isn't what I want. I want to fall in love with someone on my own terms, save things for what I'm ready, and only give it to someone who I believe deserves it, and I want it to be someone of my choosing." She looked back at him. "I don't believe I have it in me to love you, Jungkook." He nodded in understanding. "I assumed as much, but I feel you need a reminder. This isn't about love or doing or anything else other than ensuring the survival of my pack. I'm sorry that it has to be this way, and these are the terms we are both born to. But we have to reproduce. I have no other option, and I'm sorry if you don't like it. I will try and make up for it as much as I can. I want you to warm up to me eventually. Two people can learn to be in love. I promise that if you just try to get to know me and love me, you won't have to do much else. All I ask for here is effort. Ryan searched for something in his eyes or demeanor that would give her an excuse not to trust him, but she couldn't find anything. He was speaking wholeheartedly and laying everything out for her. There was no reason that she couldn't at least try. I'll try. The next morning she woke up to Jungkook quickly placing things in a bag. What are you doing? Morning, darling. I'm making sure that we have the things we need for the walk back to the starting spot. It's not a very long walk, but I want to be prepared. If we ran, we would get there quicker. I was almost there last time. He shook his head in amusement. We'll be back there before you know it. No need to rush. I just have to relieve myself. So if you will excuse me. She shook her head and went outside. She stretched and painlessly slid into her wolf formation. This was how she felt most comfortable and how she started every day. She relieved herself and began to pace. There was no doubt that Jungkook was watching her every move. Ryan froze and her ears twitched in Jungkook's direction. Knowing it was time to go, she shifted out of her wolf and quickly made her way inside the house. Yes, Jungkook. His eyes met hers and then trailed their gaze down to what he thought were the most perfect melons he had ever seen. But then he managed to look her in the eye again. Get dressed, it's time to go. He tossed a pair of shorts and a tank top to her. She looked at the clothes and decided to irritate him a little bit. I don't want to. Jungkook slowly turned to face her, clearly annoyed. You don't want to go or you don't want to wear the clothes because I could drag you along in this form if you would like. She slowly began to put the shorts on and he smirked, turning around and leaving the cabin with the full confidence that she would follow right behind. When they got in the car, she silently stared out of the window. Jungkook just stared at her and slowly ate his chips. Ryan felt his eyes burning a hole in her shoulder. Did your mother ever teach you that it's rude to stare? Jungkook smirked. I'm not staring, I'm studying. I'm not a textbook, mind your business. On the contrary, sweetheart, all of this, he pointed his index finger at her, is my business. Whatever, men are so infuriating. And women aren't. I was just looking at you and you blew up in my face for no reason. I'm uncomfortable, okay? She had been holding in whatever she could for such a long time and she couldn't anymore. You're a stranger. I don't know you and you're taking me to a foreign place far away from everything I have known. I'll probably never get to see my parents again or my friends. I'm not ripping you away from your home because I enjoy seeing you suffer, Ryan. What kind of a monster do you think I am? You don't even know me. Exactly. Why couldn't you just choose another girl? Why me, Jungkook? He stared into her eyes and sighed. There was something about you I was drawn to. She looked out of the window again and groaned. I hate men. Ryan, dressed in a pair of shorts and a tank top, sat on her bed. She got a maid named Max. All that she had seen so far of this place being the room was beautiful. Then her thoughts wandered to her friend Mia. She could only hope she was okay. Was she lucky enough to get a mate like Jungkook? She then realized she was lucky. Jungkook hadn't done her. He hadn't touched her inappropriately. He hadn't even mentioned their meeting process to her yet. And he cared about her well-being. He hadn't hit her like other male wolves did to their mates to teach her a lesson about being as insufferable as she was, and honestly, that's more she expected from him. She jumped when the door opened again and she saw Max. You ready for your tour? I guess. She gasped when she saw the hallway. Everything looked so expensive. There were gold everywhere and everything was shiny. Wow! Amazing, huh? Jungkook must come from a very wealthy family. You have no idea. This is the kitchen. You can come in here at any time and request that a meal be prepared at the push of a button. When you take your place as Luna of our pack, you will be responsible for making sure Jungkook has at least 3 meals a day. He forgets to feed himself sometimes. YN bit her lip to hold back her laugh, and when Max looked at her, she laughed so hard tears came to her eyes. Forgive me, but I won't take it upon myself to feed a grown man 3 meals a day like a toddler. Alpha or not, that's his responsibility, not mine. I don't cook anyways. Tradition says what? That I'm an indebted servant to him my whole life? I have to rear his pups, clean and make sure baby Jungkook gets 3 meals a day? What kind of show are you running here? YN? YN froze at Jungkook's stern voice and turned around to see him with a less than pleased look on his face. Max bowed quickly. Your Highness? Thank you, Max. I'll take it from here. YN was shocked. Your Highness? Max left the room and Jungkook glared at his annoying mate walking past her to pull out a stool for her to sit on. Sit down! Now! YN shivered. For the rest of the story, please watch next part. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.